As a college student about to graduate, I face one grueling fact. In the year 2026, job market is the worst it's ever been. With the rise of generative AI content, for an aspiring 3D artist and video editor with a subpar portfolio, my hopes for creating VFX for music production companies are beyond cooked. So today I'm going to see if I have the skills to recreate effects from a video production company. Also because I need a beef on my portfolio. The effect I'm going to recreate is this 3D mouth transition from Lyrical Lemonade featuring Big Sean. It transitions from digital animation to actual video, so let's get started. For step 1, I'm going to take some reference photos of myself for 3D modeling. For step 2, I'm going to 3D model, texture, and then sculpt. For step 3, I'm going to animate and add some lighting, and then export it all out. Step 4, I'm going to film the storyboard that I have. Step 5, I'm going to composite everything and upload it online. So, just finished the photos, now it's time to model. What's up, it's day 2 of this project. I currently got like a really good, low poly model of my teeth right now. Imported all the photos with the reference photos, blah blah blah. Following tutorial because I'm low-key trash at modeling, but hopefully by the end of today, I finish my model, make a little high poly as well as create a little storyboard, see if I'm up to par. So. Update. So I started sculpting after watching a tutorial. It's actually looking pretty nice, you know what I'm saying? Like, looking at that. Look at that detail. Look at that detail. But yeah, hopefully I finish this today. Shout out to the tutorial, bro. Pixel Echo CG, bro. That's my goat. Thank you. So I just lost my DFG game, you know what I'm saying? No 7th place on the moss here, bro. Anyways, got the teeth looking alright. Pretty nice. Pretty realistic if you put on the shaders here. Everything but this portion right here is pretty accurate. But yeah, that's about it. So pretty much done right here. Here the side of the details. Look at that. Ooh. The front view, like the side. Bottom teeth. Oh my god. They're pretty much done. Gotta finish the gums. It's gonna go pretty breezy. It's been a couple hours. Finished my modeling for the top teeth. I had to restart my gums because I went to mirror it, and I didn't know that when you mirror, you have a multiplication modifier on top of it. It completely messes up the centering or like the portion where it merges. But here's what we have right here. It's my teeth. Oh man, these are actually looking nice. I'm gonna finish the bottom portion of the teeth. It's probably just gonna be Control-V, Control-C, Control-V. Adjust it so it looks like my bottom portion, and then call it a day. Yo, finished everything. After session for a little bit, I'm talking about a couple of TFT games, going like first in a couple of them. Not to brag, but it's finally 9 o'clock. 9:43 p.m. But here is our model. It is looking pretty pristine in my opinion. Look at that jaw. Basically, I copy and pasted the top portion of the jaw to the bottom and just adjusted the front 2 or 3 teeth so they align and they're not clipping against each other. I didn't get to storyboard today because, I was lazy. I was session load too much, but tomorrow I'll probably get the storyboard done and get the textures done for the model. See you later. Sub's the next day, December 30th. You know, just finished the modeling, but today I'm gonna do the material and texture painting right now. So I'm gonna go do that. Yo, next day. Project's kind of take me a while, but just finished the lighting for the scene. Kind of looks, you know, pretty good. Ooh! Had to readjust my materials because the noise section wasn't really going through when I denoised it. Now it's time to animate. I animated a little bit so like the mouth closes down. Oh. But I gotta animate the rest of it, and one thing I forgot to do was create the grills for the teeth. So after I animate everything, I'm gonna add some grills. Hopefully that works later. So, a little bit of a problem. Originally I thought it was gonna be like a bunch of different gums creating the walls for like the area after the clamps or the teeth clamping. But in actuality, it's not like a bunch of gum, it's one continuous cylinder. There was like a portion of my editing where I was like, oh, let me just extend or scale up the gums from the end. Although it works to a certain degree, it's not like what it looked like in the video. Here's a reference point, for example. So after for like an hour of like editing, I'm like, oh, maybe it's this, maybe it's that. Let me actually see if the concept works, which, you know, in theory it does. Like the animation, the tunnel effect or like the cylinder effect isn't created from extending or scaling up the gums at the end. It's actually from a cylinder. So I'm gonna have to, you know, restart that portion instead of creating multiple mouths. I'm gonna create a cylinder, solidify that, go into sculpting, create a bunch of gum lines, retexture it as well, and then add that on top. Which kind of sucks, but gotta make the best product I can, you know what I'm saying? Yo, forgot to update y'all. I finally finished the throat. You know what I'm saying? Like earlier I was talking about how that was like really difficult and stuff, but it wasn't all that bad. I just created a cylinder right here. But I created a cylinder. You know, did a mirror modifier so I wouldn't have to do twice the work. I extruded it out in certain sections or scaled it up in certain sections, as you can see right here. Lowered it in certain sections, etc., etc. So it looks like that. Made the seam for the what do you call it, UV, and then afterwards I did the same thing that I did with the teeth. I basically just you know, added a Moltres modifier on top of it, did a bunch of sculpting, did a bunch of clay stripes, made it look more textured, and then went into the UV editing or UV texture and then painted on top using some reference points. And then this is what we got so far. I'm actually looking pretty excited for the result right here. Blah. Let me go zoom in. Wow, that actually looks like a throat. And because I scaled it up a bit and stuff like that and added a bunch of clay stripes and stuff, it looks not uniform, which is good. It looks semi-realistic. But on top of that, afterwards, I started adding a bunch of my original teeth that I had instead of the ones that are scaled up. And I just added them right there. And then I put it to the point where the gums just don't show all the way to the bottom, so it looks meshed in with the throat. Looking pretty good right now. Product's looking good, but I'm not gonna lie, I'm pretty lazy. It could take me quite a while, but here's what I got so far. Boom. Motion blur is making that look realistic. You know what I'm saying? It's an Eevee right now, which is kind of surprising, but I don't think, you know, it's looking pretty good. Anyways. So, low-key gave up on the grill ideas, if you know what I'm saying, One thing I will do is make some of the teeth look metal to make some grills instead of like lettering on top, if you know what I'm talking about. So animation's done, exporting's done. I'm not gonna lie, I'm blanking on the storyboard. So I think I'm gonna I think I'm just gonna do the transition, call it a day. No lie. But it is what it is. Cool little project. Yo. Pretty much finished like the base draft of my video. Let me show this real quick. So right now we start off right here. Then we introduce the mouth animation. Boom, 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 boom. And then pretty nesting and 3D tracking transition. And then we go to a kind of mixed media-ish collage. And then it loops back as you saw in the beginning. So, that's the draft right now. It kind of looks boring. I'm not gonna lie. It looks pretty chopped. I think I'll add some motion graphics, like some arrows or some lines and stuff like that. It'll look a little more appealing, but yeah, it's looking pretty chill. Yo, what's up? Finished the project. Added a bunch of the motion graphics that I was talking about earlier. A bunch of line animations, dotted line animations. Some shape animations, and then some text animations as well. I think it looks really smooth, I'm not gonna lie. So let me play through real quick. And the project went pretty okay, you know what I'm saying? If I were to look back and say, did I achieve my goal? Like, could I recreate a CGI that's like, up to standard of a studio? And I would say no and yes. Like, to a certain degree, I did recreate the effect, but it is not as believable as a original video, you know what I'm saying? Because I didn't create the mouth material, such as the thing dangling in the back, or like the mouth or the throat. I just made a bunch of clay stripes formations within my model. Or on top of that, the way that I recorded it is not like really efficient. Like all I did was get a tripod in front of me, press record, and then move it back, where you could see like within the video, you could clearly see my arm on the right grabbing the tripod, which is not like what the video is or should be. Pretty much should be like a motorized thing, or someone holding it back. So it kind of like loses the essence of like, I don't know, the smoothness. And plus the track, or 3D camera track that I did, is pretty bad. But so like the transition is not as smooth, but it is what it is, you know what I'm saying? I'm pretty proud of it. If I were to give myself a grade, I'd probably give myself a C+ to a B- on this. And yeah, I guess, put down in the comments if you think I was able to achieve the same effect to studio degree, or have any tips on what to do. Oh, also I'll probably redo the Blender project. When I scaled up the teeth, or like extruded it out, it looks unnatural, and it's not like blending with the throat. That's also a point. Actually, I give myself a solid C to C+, not like a B-. But that's about it, you know what I'm saying? Thank you for watching. I'm gonna upload this on Instagram, Vodovoz19, TikTok, Vodovoz19. Hopefully it does well. If it doesn't,